I'm joined now by the Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett of the U.S. Virgin Islands. She previously served as an impeachment manager during the second impeachment of Donald Trump. She's also a member of the House Ways and Means, Agricultural and Budget Committees. Thank you so much for joining me. I have so much to ask you. I wish we had so much time for the whole hour, just because you understand the inner workings. But my first question to you, Congresswoman, is you were one of the first people in Congress to see the importance of appointing a special prosecutor during Donald Trump's term in office. Do you feel that the Attorney General's decision yesterday is the right one based on your own experience?
Well, I think that the special investigator is not necessarily needed. A special counsel is not needed. But I think that there's a segment of our population that will find comfort in this, in the same way that the January 6th committee, if you'll recall, when the committee had witnesses come, those witnesses were in fact Republicans. And so there was no way that one could impugn the credibility of individuals being part of the far left coming after the president who just wanted to destroy him. These were people within his circle. In the same way, the special investigator is one other layer, a mechanism to remove the Attorney General, who is a political appointee, from the final decision making or from the process by which a decision is being made. I think Merrick Garland can take comfort in having Jack Smith, who has an there's no way you can impugn his credibility, his chops in the prosecutorial community. He's someone who is above partisanship. And so a recommendation coming for him for indictment of the president or other individuals related to any of the actions of the president during his administration is one that individuals who may be questioning whether or not this has political motivations will be able to rest easy on.
So I think one of the things that was interesting, that in response to the appointment of the special counsel, Donald Trump told Fox News that, quote, the worst politicization of justice in our country. He called for Republicans to, again, quote, stand up and fight. What's your thoughts on this response?
Yeah, I mean, it's just typical, it's a soundbite that he uses over and over again. It's like cut and paste, right? Anything that is against Donald Trump, he has the same response to. But I think that people have seen through it. I think the midterm election showed us that Americans are smarter than Donald Trump thinks they are, and that they can see when something is true. Despite all the misinformation, we're grateful to the media, which has been really honing in on that. And of course, Democrats and the Democratic Party. People were concerned that our message wasn't getting through, but in fact it was. That the president did some god-awful, illegal things to try and destroy our democracy for his own pecuniary as well as power gains. And we're going to continue to stop him at that. And I think that this special counsel is another mechanism to ensure that no one is above the law.
So before we go, you're about to get sworn into the start of a new Congress that will be divided. What do you think that means for Biden's agenda? And what do you think it will be about the January 6th Commission?
Sure. We know that the January 6th Commission, will have a sunset with the new Congress. There's no way that we can see the Republican conference allowing the January 6th committee to continue. And so we'll probably see a report coming out before the swearing in, before that committee is sunset. When we are sworn in the 118th. It also means that Democrats are going to have to walk and chew gum like we're so good at doing. We're going to have to continue to try and push for those things that support American people. We have an amazing president in President Biden who's been able to bring Republicans across the aisle in the Senate to be able to support his agenda. And I'm sure he and our new leadership in the House will be able to find a couple of Republicans to get things across the aisle in our side of the chamber as well. Let's remember, in the House, we only need a majority to pass legislation. And we're hopeful that there are some Republicans, moderate Republicans in purple districts that need to have some economic wins, that need to be able to demonstrate that they're working for the people. And so we'll be looking across the aisle to try and find a couple of those who can help us get that done. Because remember, this is a slim majority. Republicans barely got across got the gavel. And, you know, we're always going to be vigilant and watching to see what happens to ensure that potentially we may get it back. I'm excited about the new leadership in the House. Yes, this is a generational shift, but let's not be fooled. The individuals who are going to be running the Democratic Conference are seasoned veterans, even before they came to Congress, with intellect, with experience, with charisma, with strategic and analytical thinking. And so we're in good shape, which is not what I can say for the Republican Conference.
Well, I like that you underscore the new leadership of the Democratic Party, because I think it's finally actually recognizing who the base is. Democratic Representative Stacey Plaskett of the U.S. Virgin Islands, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.